All right, we are on our last act. Let's start reading. We're going to read all scenes in this act, and we will be finishing up Romeo and Juliet today. All right, so it's Act 5, Scene 1. Romeo enters. Romeo. If I can trust my dreams, then some joyful news is coming soon. Love rules my heart all day long. A strange feeling has been making me cheerful. I had a dream that my lady came and found me dead. It's a strange dream that lets a dead man think. She came and brought me back to life by kissing my lips. I rose from the dead and was an emperor. Oh my, how sweet it would be to actually have the woman I love when merely thinking about love makes me so happy. So we see some foreshadowing here and him hinting to the fact that he will be in the tomb with Juliet later in this scene, or in this act. Romeo's servant Balthazar enters. Do you have news from Verona? What is it? Balthazar, what is it? Do you bring me a letter from the friar? How is my wife? Is my father well? How is Juliet? I ask that again because nothing can be wrong if she is well. Balthazar, then she is well, and nothing is wrong. Her body sleeps in the Capulet tomb, and her immortal soul lives with the angels in heaven. I saw her buried in her family's tomb, and then I came here to tell you the news. Oh, pardon me for bringing this bad news, but you told me it was my job, sir. So right away we see this misinformation in Act 5, in which Romeo's servant sees Juliet getting buried and gets there before the friar's word of the plan can get there. Romeo, is it really true? Then I rebel against you, stars. You know where I live. Give me some ink and paper and hire some horses to ride. I leave here for Verona tonight. Balthazar, please, sir, have patience. You look pale and wild as if you're going to hurt yourself. Romeo, tisk, you're wrong. Leave me and do what I told you to do. You don't have a letter for me from the friar? Balthazar, no, my good lord. No matter. Get on your way and hire those horses. I'll be with you right away. Balthazar exits. So Balthazar not bringing that letter and not having that information from the friar is this crucial moment in which Romeo's not getting the full picture and jumping to conclusions and going to make some rash decisions. Well, Juliet, I'll lie with you tonight. Let's see how. Destructive thoughts come quickly to the minds of desperate men. I remember a pharmacist who lives nearby. I remember he wears shabby clothes and has bushy eyebrows. He makes drugs from herbs. He looks poor and miserable and worn out to the bone. He had a tortoiseshell hanging up in his shop, as well as stuffed alligator and other skins of strange fish. There were a few empty boxes on his shelves, as well as green clay pots and some musty seeds. There were a few strands of strings and mashed rose petals on display. Noticing all this poverty, I said to myself, if a man needed some poison, which they would immediately kill you for selling in Mantua, here is a miserable wretch who'd sell it to him. Oh, his idea came before I needed the poison. But this same poor man must sell it to me. As I remember, this should be the house. Today's a holiday, so the beggar's shop is shut. Hey, pharmacist. The apothecary enters. Apothecary. Who's calling so loud? Who's calling so loud? Come here, man. I see that you are poor. Here are 40 ducats. Let me have a shot of poison, something that works so fast that the person who takes it will die as fast as gunpowder exploding in a cannon. The apothecary. I have lethal poisons like that, but it's against the law to sell them in Mantua. And the penalty is death. Romeo. You're this poor and wretched and still afraid to die. Your cheeks are thin because of hunger. I can see in your eyes that you're starving. Anyone can see that. You're a beggar. The world is not your friend, and neighbor is the law. The world doesn't make laws to make you rich, so don't be poor. Break the law and take this money. He holds out the money. The apothecary. I agree because I'm poor, not because I want to. Romeo. I pay you because you're poor, not because you want me to buy this. The apothecary gives Romeo the poison. Put this in any kind of liquid you want to drink and drink it down. Even if you were as strong as 20 men, it would kill you immediately. Romeo gives apothecary money. There is your gold. Money is a worse poison to men's souls and commits more murders in this awful world than these poor poisons that you're not allowed to sell. I've sold you poison. You haven't sold me any. Goodbye. Buy yourself food and put some flesh on your bones. I'll take this mixture, which is a medicine, not a poison, to Juliet's grave. That's where I must use it. And they exit. So Romeo goes and buys this poison, thinking that Juliet has died. The audience knows that Juliet hasn't, and this is where you're almost on your edge of your seat, knowing that Romeo is making a fatal, terrible mistake. Even if the audience knows what's happening in the end, they're trying to convince themselves that it's not going to happen. So Shakespeare was really good at grabbing the audience and making them believe that this was not going to be the eventuality and not be the end. So Friar John enters. Friar John, holy Franciscan friar, brother, hey. Friar Lawrence enters. Friar Lawrence, that sounds like the voice of Friar John. Welcome back from Mantua. What does Romeo say? Or if he wrote down his thoughts, give me his letter. Friar John, I went to find another poor friar from our order to accompany me. He was here in the city visiting the sick. When I found him, the town health officials suspected that we were both in a house that has been hit with the plague. They quarantined the house, sealed up the doors, and refused to let us out. I couldn't go to Mantua because I was stuck there. Friar Lawrence, then who took the letter to Romeo? Friar John, I couldn't send it. Here it is. He gives Friar Lawrence a letter. I couldn't get a messenger to bring it to you either because they were scared of spreading the infection. So Friar John isn't able to get this letter to Romeo. This is where we see Balthazar breaking this news to Romeo, and this is why the letter wasn't able to make it, because Friar John was having to quarantine because of the plague that had hit the town. Friar Lawrence, unhappy fortune. By my brotherhood, the letter was not just a nice greeting. It was full of very important information. It's very dangerous that it hasn't been sent. Friar John, go. Get me an iron crowbar. Bring it straight back to my cell. Friar John, brother, I'll go and bring it to you immediately. Friar Lawrence, now I must go to the tomb alone. Within 3 hours, Juliet will wake up. She'll be very angry with me that Romeo doesn't know what happened. But I'll write again to Mantua, and I'll keep her in my cell until Romeo comes. That poor living corpse, she's shut up inside that dead man's tomb. So Friar Lawrence's plan has fallen apart, okay, because of this misinformation, because he wasn't able to get the information to Romeo. All right, Act 5, Scene 3. Paris enters with his page. Paris. Now, remember, Paris is the man that Juliet was meant to marry, okay? So, Paris, give me your torch, boy. Go away and stay apart from me. Put the torch out so I can't be seen. Hide under the yew trees over there. Listen to make sure no one is coming through the graveyard. If you hear anyone, whistle to me to signal that someone is approaching. Give me those flowers. Do as I tell you. Go. So Paris is in the graveyard where Juliet is in the tomb, or the catacombs, the tombs of the Capulet house. The page puts out the torch and gives Paris the flowers. The page to himself. I am almost afraid to stand alone here in the graveyard, but I'll take the risk. The page moves aside. Paris. He scatters flowers at Juliet's closed tomb. Sweet flower, I'm spreading flowers over your bridal bed. O pain, your canopy is dust and stones. I'll water these flowers every night with sweet water. Or if I don't do that, my nightly rituals to remember you will be put flowers on your grave and weep. The page whistles. The boy is warning me that someone approaches. Who could be walking around here tonight? Who's ruining my rituals of true love? It's someone with a torch. I must hide in the darkness for a while. Paris hides in the darkness. Romeo and Balthazar enter with a torch, a pickaxe, and an iron crowbar. So Romeo has come while Paris is hiding and waiting. Romeo, give me that pickaxe and the crowbar. He takes them both from Balthazar. Here, take this letter. Early in the morning, deliver it to my father. He gives a letter to Balthazar. Give me the light. He takes the torch from Balthazar. Swear on your life, I command you. Whatever you hear or see, stay away from me. Do not interrupt me in my plan. I'm going down into this tomb of the dead, partly to behold my wife's face, but my main reason is to take a precious ring from her dead finger. I must use that ring for an important purpose. So go on your way. But if you get curious and return to spy on me, I swear I'll tear you apart limb by limb and spread your body parts around to feed the hungry animals in the graveyard. My plan is wild and savage. I am more fierce in this endeavor than a hungry tiger or the raging sea. So he misinforms and misleads Balthazar that he's just going in to get the ring, but he plans on drinking the poison. So he doesn't want Balthazar to come back and try to stop him. Balthazar, I'll go, sir, and won't bother you. Romeo, Romeo says, that's the way to show me friendship. Take this. He gives Balthazar money. Live and be prosperous. Farewell, good fellow. Romeo speaking to the tomb, you horrible mouth of death. You've eaten up the dearest creature on earth. Now I'm going to force open your rotten jaws and make you eat another body. Romeo begins to open the tomb with his tools. Paris speaking so that Romeo can't hear him. It's that arrogant Montague, the one who's been banished. He's the one who murdered my love's cousin, Tybalt. They think she died with grief for that cousin. This guy has come here to commit awful crimes against the dead bodies. I'll catch him. So Paris has no idea that Romeo has married Juliet, while Juliet's still alive in the tomb, only under this potion, under this medicine that's making her seem dead. And Paris thinks that Romeo is going to do, desecrate the bodies and burn the tomb and do terrible things. And he's going to try to stop Romeo. So you can see how this crazy amount of misinformation and assuming the wrong thing and making the wrong choices all could be solved if they would have went back and just been honest and told the truth in the beginning. So Paris steps out to Romeo. Stop your evil work, vile Montague. Can you take revenge on dead bodies? Condemned villain, I've caught you. Obey and come with me. You must die. Romeo replies, I must indeed. That's why I came here, good and noble young man. Don't mess with someone who's desperate. Get away from here and leave me. Think about the ones who have died. Let them put fear in your heart. Please, young man, don't make me angry. I don't want to commit another crime. Oh, go away. I swear I love you more than I love myself, for I've come here with weapons to use against myself. Don't stay here. Go away. Live, and from now on, say a madman mercifully told you run away. Paris, I refuse your request. I'm arresting you as a criminal. Romeo, are you going to provoke me? All right, let's fight, boy. Romeo and Paris fight. The page interrupts. Oh, Lord, they're fighting. I'll go call the watch. The page exits. So the page goes to get kind of like the watch, the police officers to come in and try to break this up. Paris, he falls. Oh, I've been killed. If you are merciful, open the tomb and lay me next to Juliet. And Paris dies. So Romeo actually kills Paris because of this chaos and misinformation. Romeo, all right, I will. Let me look at this face. It's Mercutio's relative, noble Count Paris. What did my man say? I was worried, so I wasn't listening to him while we were writing. I think he told me Paris was about to marry Juliet. Isn't that what he said? Or was I dreaming, or am I crazy? Did I hear him say something about Juliet and jump to conclusions? Oh, give me your hand. Both of us has had such bad luck. I'll bury you in a magnificent grave. Romeo opens the tomb to reveal Juliet inside. Oh, a grave. Oh, no. This is a lantern. Dead Paris. Juliet lies here, and her beauty fills this tomb with light. Dead men lie here. You are being buried by another dead man. He lays Paris in the tomb. How often are men happy right before they die? They call it the lightless death, or before death, the lightness before death. Oh, how can I call this lightness? Oh, my love, my wife, dead. Death has sucked the honey from your breath, but it has not ruined your beauty. You haven't been conquered. There is still red in your lips and in your cheeks. Death has not turned them pale. So actually that redness in her cheeks and in her lips is that the potion is wearing off. He doesn't realize this, but she's beginning to wake up slowly. Tybalt, are you lying there in your bloody death shroud? Oh, what better favor can I do for you than to kill the man who killed you with the same hand that made you die young? Forgive me, cousin. Says, technically he is his cousin. Oh, dear Juliet, why are you still so beautiful? Should I believe that death is in love with you and that this awful monster keeps you here to be his mistress? I don't like that idea. So I'll stay with you, and I will never leave this tomb. Here. I'll remain with worms that are your chambermaids. Oh, I'll rest here forever. I'll forget about all the bad luck that has troubled me. Eyes, look out for the least time. Arms, make your last embrace. And lips, you are the doors of breath. Seal with a righteous kiss the deal I have made with death forever. Romeo kisses Juliet and takes out the poison. Come, bitter poison. Come, unsavory god. You desperate pilot. Let's crash the sea-weary ship into the rocks. Here's to my love. Romeo drinks the poison. Oh, the pharmacist was honest. This drug works quickly, so I die with a kiss. And Romeo dies. Friar Lawrence enters with a lantern, crowbar, and shovel. Friar Lawrence. St. Francis, help me. How often tonight have my old feet stumbled on gravestones? Who's there? So right away he mentions that it's taken him a while to get to the tomb. Okay, so that's another poke that Shakespeare puts in this, is that Friar Lawrence was barely late enough not to save Romeo from taking the poison. Balthazar, I'm a friend who knows you well. Friar Lawrence, God bless you. Tell me, my good friend, what is that light over there? The one that vainly lights up the darkness of the worms and skulls around without eyes. It looks to me like it's burning in the Capulet tomb. Balthazar, that is where it's burning, Father. My master is there, the one you love. Friar Lawrence, who is it? Balthazar, Romeo. Friar Lawrence, how long has he been there? For a full half hour. Go with me to the tomb. Balthazar, I don't dare, sir. My master doesn't know I'm still here. He threatened me with death if I stayed to look at what he was doing. Friar Lawrence, stay then. I'll go alone. I'm suddenly afraid. Oh, I'm very scared something awful has happened. Balthazar, as I slept under these yew trees here, I had a dream that my master and someone else were fighting, and that my master killed him. Friar Lawrence, approaching the tomb. Romeo, oh no, what is this blood that stains the stony entrance of this tomb? Why are these bloody swords lying here, abandoned by their masters, next to this place of peace? He looks inside the tomb. Romeo, oh, he's pale. Who else? What's Paris too? And he's covered in blood. Ah, when did these horrible things happen? The lady's moving, and Juliet begins to wake up. So Juliet begins to wake in this terrible moment of Paris dead at her feet, Romeo dead, Friar Lawrence sitting there trying to understand what's going on. So you can imagine this scene on stage is quite traumatic. And Juliet, oh, friendly friar, where is my husband? I remember very well where I should be, and here I am. Where is my Romeo? A noise sounds from outside the tomb. Friar Lawrence, I hear some noise, lady. Come out of the tomb. A greater power than we can fight has ruined our plan. Come away. Your husband lies dead there, and Paris too. Come, I'll place you among the sisterhood of holy nuns. Don't wait to ask questions. The watch is coming. Come, let's go, good Juliet. Don't dare to stay any longer. So Friar Lawrence is trying to kind of pull her out and get her out of there, maybe to save himself or save her or save the moment. Definitely quite the chaotic time. Go, get out of here. I'm not going anywhere. Friar Lawrence exits. What's this here? It's a cup, closed in my true love's hands. Poison, I see, has been the cause of his death. How rude. He drank it all and didn't leave any to help me afterward. I will kiss your lips. Perhaps there's still some poison on them to make me die with a medicinal kiss. She kisses Romeo. Your lips are warm. The watchman in Paris' pages enter. Chief watchwoman, or watchman, coming to the page. Lead boy, which way? Juliet. Oh, noise. Then I'll be quick. Oh, good, a knife. My body will be your sheath. Rust inside my body and let me die. She stabs herself with Romeo's dagger and dies. So Romeo and Juliet have both taken their life. The page. This is the place. There where the torch is burning. Chief watchman. The ground is bloody. Search the graveyard. Go, some of you, arrest whoever you find. Some watchmen exit. This is a pitiful sight. The count is dead. Juliet is bleeding. Her body is warm, and she seems to have been dead only a short time, even though she's been buried for 2 days. Go, tell the prince. Run to the Capulets. Wake the Montagues. Have some other search. Some other watchmen exit in several directions. We see the cause of all this pain, but we'll have to investigate to discover the whole story. The second watchman re-enters with Balthazar. Second watchman. Here's Romeo's man. We found him in the churchyard. Chief watchman. Hold him in custody until the prince gets here. Third watchman re-enters with Friar Lawrence. Third watchman. Here's a friar who's trembling, sighing, and weeping. We took this pickaxe and this shovel from him as he was walking from this side of the graveyard. Chief watchman. Very suspicious. Hold the friar too. The prince enters with attendants. Prince. What crimes happen so early in the morning that I have to wake up before the usual time? Capulet and Lady Capulet enter. Capulet. What's the problem that they cry out so loud? What's the problem? Lady Capulet. Some people in the streets are crying Romeo. Some are crying Juliet, and some are crying Paris. They're all running in an open riot toward the tomb. Prince. What's this awful thing that everyone's crying about? Chief watchman. Prince. Here lies Count Paris killed and Romeo dead, and Juliet. She was dead before, but now she's warm and hasn't been dead for long. The prince. Investigate how this foul murder came about. Chief watchman. Here is a friar and dead Romeo's man. They've got tools on them, tools they could use to open the tombs. Capulet. Oh, heavens. Oh, wife, look at how our daughter bleeds. That knife should be in its sheath on that Montague's back, but instead it's missheathed in my daughter's breast. Lady Capulet. Oh my, the sight of death is like a bell that warns me I'm old and I'll die soon. Montague enters. Prince. Come, Montague, you're up early to see your son down early. Kind of a sad way to say that to his dad. But come, Montague, you're up early to see your son down early. Montague. Oh, my liege, my wife died tonight. Sadness over my son's exile stopped her breath. What further pain must I endure in my old age? So Montague's wife, Lady Montague, is dead, who died in her sleep. And now he's waking up to find her son's dying. So you can see in this Shakespearean tragedy, so many people are dying. It's happening left and right. Very exaggerated, but he's painting this whole picture of how just hiding these truths and having these grudges and not being open and honest had led to these terrible things to happen. The prince. Look, and you'll see. Montague, seeing Romeo's body. Oh, you undisciplined boy. Where are your manners? It's not right for a son to push past his father on his way to a grave. The prince. Be quiet and hold back your remarks of outrage until we can clear up these questions. We want to know how it started and what really happened, and then I'll be the leader of pain, and maybe I'll lead you as far as death. In the meantime, hold on and be patient. Bring forth the men under suspicion. Friar Lawrence. I am the greatest, but I was able to do the least. I am under the most suspicion because I was here at the time of this awful murder, and here I stand. You can question me and punish me. I have already condemned and excused myself. Prince, tell us what you know about this affair. Friar Lawrence, I will be brief because I am not going to live long enough to tell a boring story. Romeo, who lies there dead, was the husband of that Juliet, and she who lies there dead was the Romeo's faithful wife. I married them. Their secret wedding day was the day Tybalt died. His untimely death caused the bridegroom to be banished from the city. Juliet was sad because Romeo was gone, not because of Tybalt's death. To cure her sadness, you arranged a marriage for her with Count Paris. Then she came to me, and looking wild, she asked me to devise a plan to get her out of this second marriage. She threatened to kill herself in my cell if I didn't help her. So I gave her a sleeping potion that I had mixed with the special skills. It worked as planned. She seemed to everyone to be dead. In the meantime, I wrote to Romeo and told him to come here on this awful night to help remove her from her temporary grave when the sleeping potion wore off. But the man who carried my letter, Friar John, was held up by an accident. Last night he gave me the letter back, so I came here alone at the hour when she was supposed to wake up. I came to take her out of her family's tomb, hoping to hide her in my cell until I can make contact with Romeo. Till I can make contact with Romeo. But by the time I got here, just a few minutes before Juliet woke up, Paris and Romeo were already dead. She woke up, and I asked her to come out of the tomb with me and endure this tragedy with patience. But then a noise sent me running scared from the tomb. She was too desperate to come with me, and it seems that she killed herself. I know all of this, and her nurse knows about the marriage too. If any part of this tragedy is my fault, let my old life be sacrificed, and let me suffer the most severe punishment. The Prince. Have you always known you to be a holy man? We have always known you to be a holy man. Where's Romeo's man? What does he have to say about this? Balthazar. I brought my masters news of Juliet's death, and then he rode to Mantua here to this tomb. He shows the letter. Earlier this morning, he asked me to give this letter to his father. When he went into the vault, he threatened me with death if I didn't leave him alone there. Give me the letter. I'll look at it. He takes the letter from Balthazar. Where is the Count's page, the one who called the watch? Boy, what was your master doing here? He came with flowers to spread on his lady's grave, and he asked me to stand far away and leave him alone, and so I did. Then someone with a torch came to open the tomb, so my master drew on him, and then ran away to call the watch. Then I ran away to call the watch. The Prince, skimming the letter. This letter confirms the friar's account. It describes the course of their love and mentions the news of her death. Here he writes that he bought poison from a poor pharmacist. He brought the poison with him to this vault to die and lie with Juliet. Where are these enemies, Capulet, Montague? Do you see what a great evil results from your hate? Heaven has figured out how to kill your joys with love, because I looked the other way when your feud flared up. I've lost several members of my family as well. Everyone is punished. Capulet. Oh, brother Montague, give me your hand. This is my daughter's dowry. I can ask you for nothing more. A dowry is a payment. Back in the day, back in older time, the father of a young girl who was getting married would pay the husband's family a dowry. Okay, it was kind of like a gift from the wife's family to the husband's family. Montague, but I can give you more. I'll raise her statue in pure gold. As long as the city is called Verona, there will be no figure praised more than that of true and faithful Juliet. So Montague, Romeo's father, promises to build this golden statue as a way to remember Juliet. The statue I will make of Romeo to lie. Oh, say it again. Sorry. Capulet says this. This is Juliet's father. The statue I will make of Romeo to lie beside his Juliet will be just as rich. They were poor sacrifices of our rivalry. Prince. We settle a dark peace this morning. The sun is too sad to show itself. Let's go to talk about these sad things some more. Some will be pardoned and some will be punished. There was never a story more full of pain than the story of Romeo and Juliet. They all exit, and that is the end of the play. So we end the play with the friar explaining what has happened. The prince seems to kind of push past that, forgive himself, take some blame himself, and then looks to the Mr. Capulet and Mr. Montague, the Lord Capulet, Lord Montague, and they themselves begin to take blame for this. They themselves.
They don't care.
Sorry, my daughter just walked in the room. Just a second. Sorry about that. My daughter interrupted. But what I was saying was that the Lord Capulet and Lord Montague, they took a little blame and took some of the blame. So we see a lot of people at the end, Prince, Friar Lawrence, Capulet, Montague, all taking blame here. And what I want you to do now is go over to Echo and take a look at the assignment. I probably explained it at the beginning of the class. And we're going to be looking at, who do you think is to blame? How was the misinformation? Who do you think, is there one person that deserves all the blame? Should it be spread apart? Why? And share that with us. So thank you.